I assume this is a fake YouTube link. What? I just got rickrolled by AI. Hey everyone, I made a fake social media website called InstaScam. And what it is, it's a social media website populated by AI. So if I click this profile here, Ethan, the profile picture is AI generated, so is the biography. So is the picture he posted here and the text. And the thing is that these characters have memories and they form relationships with each other. So a quick demonstration of how this works is you can see here that Ethan talks about a smart gardening system using AI-powered sensors because he's a very techy guy. And then Harold comes in, who is this old-fashioned man, and he says, your tech skills are on point, but let's keep it real for a second. I mean, have you ever actually gardened with your hands? And this interaction means that there will now be a relationship established between them. So if I click Ethan's profile and I go down, I see here's his first post, and his second post is him actually hanging out with Harold in Harold's old-fashioned gardening setup. And then Thorn comes in and complains and says that a few tomato plants and some green thumbs are not going to change the game. And Victoria criticizes Thorn, and in the next post it's Ethan and Victoria hanging out together talking about the smart gardening system. And they mention Thorn's post. What struck me the most was our shared excitement for taking Thorn's bold challenge to the next level. So, as you can see, they form relationships and memories and will reference previous events that have happened. And because of the jankiness of AI, sometimes the results are really interesting, sometimes they're really entertaining and funny, and sometimes they're just like downright inappropriate. So one of my favorite examples of this is that Malone here, he's Rastafari dude, kind of interested in ganja, and during some simulations he gets really obsessed with it. So in this one he starts with wanting to start a ganja farm, and then in the next post he starts a youth outreach program for vulnerable kids, teaching vulnerable children how to grow weed. Of course. Then it just escalates. Ganja for the community. Starts his own online business. Entrepreneurial spirit. Very admirable. If you want to try this project yourself or build your own version of this website, you can, because it's open source. So if you click the InstaScam logo on top here, you will be taken to the InstaScam repo on my GitHub profile. And here will be instructions on how to install it. So let's just start by cloning the repo to a folder like this. And there are two more things you need. First, you need LM Studio for our language model. So here you download a model known as Llama Lexi Uncensored. And the reason we're using the uncensored version here, uncensored version 2, by Orangutan. The reason we're using the uncensored version is because censored models may not want to create unlikable or problematic characters. So you download that model and then you go to Developer, Control 2, and Server Settings. You activate Coarse and you activate Just-in-Time Model Loading. And then you load the model with a context length of at least 16,000 tokens. I also prefer to have seed set to 1 just to have a stable seed. And then remember settings for Llama Lexi Uncensored and load model. The reason you want to remember the settings is because it's going to load and unload during image generation. And the other thing you need to do is you need to install Comfy UI. If you don't already have it, then the repo also contains this tools folder that has a bat file that should install Comfy UI and required models. If you download it yourself, don't download the desktop version. Instead, clone the repo or get I think it's called the portable version. If both of those things are running, you have both LM Studio running and you have a window with Comfy UI running, then you are ready to start. And by starting, it's as simple as writing Python sim.py. And this will start the simulator. So you see now that it's generating the BIOS for the characters. When you start this, the first thing it does is it creates a site folder, which it will slowly populate over time. So you will start with an empty feed, empty profiles, empty log, and then it will over time generate the profiles and profile pictures and fill in the feed as things are being generated. And if you want to add your own characters, you do that simply by going to this characters YAML file. And here you can see how the characters are defined. So you choose a name, and then these entries which have numbers dictate behavior. So reply is how often the character replies to somebody else's post versus posting something new themselves. Frequency is how often they post. Pics is how often their post contains a picture. Extroversion is how often they hang out with other people. And under here you have a description of appearance and personality. When writing appearance, you should include relative age, gender, ethnicity, and often hair color if you want the characters to look consistent. And another way you can modify things is by modifying the sim.py file. So this is the single Python file which runs everything. It is around 3,000 lines of code, and it's basically a combination of a prompt builder and a static site generator, and that's mostly what it does. So here you have some settings where you choose your the URL for the language model and the image generator and which workflow to use. The standard one is just 512 by 512 pixels for image generation. And if you turn LM Studio to false, then you can use OpenAI compatible APIs if you want to, for example, connect something like ChatGPT or something like that. I haven't tried it with any online models, and I assume it's on my computer. It will probably be slower, and I assume very censored results. And then you have here the character class, which is how the characters are imported into the simulation. So here it creates new instances of classes with the features described in the characters YAML. And if you want to see what the prompts look like or change the prompts, you can write prompt space in capital letters, activate case sensitive, and you get to the prompt builders section where all the prompts are. So this is what the prompts look like. UR, character name, and then char description character, which is a function which just returns a description of the current character. And okay, yeah. Yeah, and this is basically how all the prompts work. So you can change things around here and try to, if you're using different models, if you want to see if there's a better way to write these prompts, and this is also an easy way to just change the program. And the look at a website is decided inside templates. Here you have a styles, CSS, and some template files which show what the website will look like. So if you want to edit the style of the website and make something different, you edit it there. And the image generator we are using is Set Image Turbo, which, oh, look at this. I'm not a morning person, that's nice. Yeah, set image turbo, which using the default workflow on my computer, it generates a image in 5 seconds. So it's pretty quick and has pretty good prompt comprehension, so it's very rare for it to hallucinate and make mistakes. If you want it to run faster, by default it's set so that it will vary between generating text and generating images, and then sort of populate the website in steps. Yeah, so now the image generator is done doing its work. So now we have these profiles with profile pictures. Generation and back is less efficient than just generating all the text first and then generating the images at the end. And if you wanted to just get everything done as quickly as possible, you can set live every to 0, and then it will append all the posts when everything has been written. And you can also turn off live image updates, and then it will only generate images when all the posts have been written. So this is more efficient, but then you have to wait for the end of the simulation before you actually get to see the results. So the reason I've set it up like this is that then I can get to see the results gradually as things are being generated. Anyway, if you like this project and you want to support it, then just give it a star on GitHub. If you want to support me, buy me a coffee on Ko-fi, subscribe to my Patreon, and also download the project and hack it and change it and optimize it and do whatever you want. I really appreciate any kind of contribution, and I look forward to seeing what other people can do with this stuff. So anyway, thank you for watching this video. Debate not dismiss, that's a cool slogan. Oh yeah, look at this. Jasper's zero waste camping with a solar panel and a portable wind turbine. Like, this is his definition of zero waste camping. He brought with him his own power station. And this is not like a small portable solar panel, the kind you put in your backpack. You can see here there are batteries. This looks like it's meant to be stationary and remain somewhere over time. I get the idea of not relying on fossil fuels and using green energy, but I do think this is actually more wasteful than just normal camping.